happy Saturday. It is December 16th. I am too excited. I got to put my phone on the airplane mode, y'all. About forgot because you know how the Wi-Fi do. You have to make sure you have some good Wi-Fi. So I'm excited this morning to have a very special guest, Karen Ferguson. Karen and I met each other some years ago, back when we worked for Teleflex's corporation in the Raleigh, Durham, North Carolina area, and just stayed connected since then. She's a beautiful spirit inside and out, and I'm just so grateful that she said yes when I reached out to her somewhat last minute, like, oh my gosh, I need a December guest. Can you be can you be my guest for this collaboration over competition? And she said yes. So I am again so excited that she decided to join. So Karen, before we get started, just want you to introduce yourself. Let us know who you are, what you do, and your why.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me this morning. There was never a question in my mind. I was going to say yes to whatever you asked me to do because you're always doing so many positive things, and I just love watching everything that you do. So,
Mhm.
I am Karen Ferguson. I am a real estate agent in the Arkansas area. So, I help people buy and sell investment properties, their personal homes, and even some commercial businesses. I was recently voted and named the best real estate agent in my county by the readers of a local magazine. So that just means I work really hard and I love what I do.
Yeah, yeah. And I see you out there working. Congratulations to you for that. You know, people don't realize like some the work that you put into something and when you get these accolades and these awards and this recognition, not that you need it to do your job, but it just helps fuel, that passion and what you do. And like, it's confirmation like, okay, I am doing the right thing. Okay, I am making a difference in someone's life because you are. You're literally changing someone's lives by selling them their home. This may be a first time home owner. This may be someone who's transitioning because maybe they've lost a loved one. Like it can get very emotional and different things like that, when it comes to real estate. And she went from marketing y'all to real estate. So let me tell you something, that's kind of brilliant because she already knows how to be a marketer, right? How to get things done, how to target the right audience. And then you turn around and
Mhm.
become a real estate agent. So that was just right down the right path, right?
Yeah.
I didn't realize you were in Arkansas though. I don't know where I thought you were. So how did you
Yes.
make that transition from Raleigh, North Carolina area to Arkansas?
Well, I actually moved from Raleigh, North Carolina back to Memphis for a job and was closer to my mom. Her health wasn't very well during that time. And then later on, met my husband, who is a true Arkansan. He told me when we first met, he said, let's get something clear here. I know you've lived in some nice places like North Carolina and you visited all these places, but I'm an Arkansan. And when you marry me, we have to commit to staying in Arkansas. And I was like,
Okay.
hold on, let me think about that. And
Like,
of
wait a minute,
course,
that's not
yeah, I fell in love with him. I fell in love with Arkansas. And
yeah,
now, my whole business is around helping people in the community. And so I will likely be here forever.
yeah. And that's a beautiful thing. What a beautiful story. And it's not about, women or men following each other. It's about that love, that bond that you have and understanding, when people you love are passionate about something, you become that
Yeah,
too because you love them so much that it becomes it's kind of like vice
yeah.
versa, like your passions become each other's and you respect each other. And that's the good thing. That's the beautiful thing. Somebody is on here watching. They said, good morning, my angel on earth, and good morning, guest. So
Mm.
this must be my mom. If that's you,
Aw.
Linda Cowan, speak up. So she said, good morning, guest. So I guess that's who it is. But, I don't know who
Good
that is.
morning.
Uh-huh.
So
Yeah.
sweet.
That's so sweet. And so before we get into the questions, one question I've been asking all of my guests, and yes, that was my mother. Love you
Aw.
too, mom. One question I've been asking all of my guests before I get started is what what is your song of the year or your song of all time, right? And why? I feel like that tells us a little bit about your personality and who you are. So can you tell us what that song is?
You know, this song has just stuck with me ever since one of my really good friends told me that she thinks about me every time she hears this song, and it really does fit, especially this year. And it would be "Firework" by Katy Perry.
Yeah.
I just really feel that, I've just been ignited with this joy and this happiness and this passion, and my business has just taken off. And I really do feel like a firework right now,
Yeah.
and I just don't. I want it to last forever, but I would say
Yeah.
that definitely is a good song that fits this year.
Yeah, and it's an empowering song, right?
Yes.
And we all need that, that inspiration and that upliftment and something to empower us and get that passion in us going. And what better song than fireworks? Because it's a
Yeah.
great song. My
Yeah.
daughters, well, the one daughter in particular, used to love that song.
Yeah.
So let's get into it. What are some examples, because we've all experienced it as women, what are some examples of when you've been in a competitive situation? And this can be anything that you want to share. And if it's more than one, then just narrow it down to two.
Okay. Well, I can definitely think of two off the top of my head. The first one would be actually when I moved from North Carolina to Memphis.
Mhm.
My mom had a stroke during that time, and my director at Teleflex wanted to sit down with me and talk about his plans for me and how he saw promotion in my future. And it was so exciting, but at the same time, my heart just
Yeah.
broke for my mom, and I felt like I needed to be close to her. So,
Mhm.
long story short, I decided to apply for this job in Memphis, and come to find out there were 125 applicants.
Oh my
And
gosh.
I felt so defeated just knowing there were 125 people that had applied for this job. And I lived way in North Carolina. So that meant they were going to have to spend all this money to move me there if they chose me. And I just thought
Right.
all these reasons why they wouldn't choose me, because I wasn't local at the time. And, man, that's just a lot of people to compete with. But
Yeah.
I was very passionate about being close to my mom and being there for her. And so that passion for the love of my mom and being close to her overcame all of the negative thoughts that I had, and the reasons why I didn't think I would get the job. And so I went for it, and it was hard. I had to fly to Memphis and stay overnight in a hotel, and spend the entire day meeting with 8 different people from
Mhm.
different levels, all the way up to the president of the division. And it was super stressful.
Yeah.
But I did it and I got it.
Mhm. Yeah.
And that was really a big stepping stone for me, because I needed to be back close to my mom, and I really needed to have that family atmosphere that I had
Yeah.
missed so much. And so
Yeah.
that was a time where I would say it would have been a really big mistake to listen to the negative thoughts and not go for it, because that really was the stepping stone for how I ended up where I am now later on in life.
Right, right. So that sounds like that was more competition within yourself. Like
Yes.
you were listening to negative thoughts, thinking, okay, I'm not going to get this. I don't know why they would choose me. All the reasons that you said, but you chose to move on instead. And so that's a great example of how we can be in competition with ourselves and allow those negative thoughts to deter us from something, but you instead chose to say, no, I'm going to do this. And it was because you know what your skill sets were, you know what your value is, you know what you're worth, and you went for it. And that's why you got the job, because God knew it too, right? So
Yeah.
it's like if we
Yeah.
keep selling ourselves short, we're never going to get there. If we keep
That's
talking
right.
ourselves out of it, it's never going to happen,
No,
right?
that's
So I
right.
love that. I love that story.
Yeah.
And so I did have, the other question is, how did you overcome it? And I heard you say a few things. And, it sounds like your mother was a driving force, but how
Mhm.
did you truly overcome those negative thoughts? What made you say, nope, I'm not listening to this. I am going to move forward and go after this position?
Yeah, I would say definitely prayer,
Mhm.
and just believing in myself, and knowing that most of the things that have been good in my life did not come easy. So
Right.
I felt like this was super hard, and it was going to be a very big deal and very stressful. But I knew, like how God has always worked in my life, that there was something really good on the other side of all of this that I was so fearful of. And I would say that I feel like fear is a liar. There's actually a
Mhm.
song about that I listen to a lot, and I was just adamant that I was just not going to let fear hold me back. If I didn't get the job, it was going to be because someone, interviewed better or they had better skill sets or something, but I was at least going to give it all that I had.
Yeah, yeah. Oh my God, you said fear is a liar. Oh my God,
Yeah.
that kind of did something. That's powerful because it's facts and it's
That's right.
true. That's all it's doing. And yeah, should we? Are there some things we should fear? Yeah, and you know what that is? God. That's it.
Right.
And it's only, fearing him in the sense that he is the most powerful and almighty, and we should walk in his light and do what he's called us to do. That's what that means. Not in, oh my gosh, he's going to strike me down dead. Like, that's not
Yeah.
what that means, and I think people get that twisted, right? And
Mhm.
so, fear is a liar. Somebody put that up. Yeah, that's powerful, Karen. You need to, like, that need to be your tagline or something. Fear is a liar. I'm going to use that. I like that
Girl,
because it
I
is.
just was, I got sick and tired of letting fear run my life. Everything, even some of the good things was out of fear. Fear for
Mhm.
not being successful enough, or fear for not having enough, or, and speaking of, collaboration over competition, you have to be careful because if you really think about why am I feeling so competitive with these other women, it probably has a lot to do with yourself and the fear that you may have or the insecurities you have. And those are all lies, So you
All
have to stop listening to
lies.
them. Mm-hmm.
All lies. He made us all each in his image. We
Yep.
each have certain uniqueness about ourselves, certain qualities that other people will not have. I had a past guest, I would think it was last year, where she talked about her fingerprints. Yeah,
Yeah.
someone may have her same name, right? Because there are other people named Tanya. Let's just be real. There's other people named Karen, right? It's a little joke about Karens. I know you done heard
Oh,
it, Karen.
yeah.
Look, Karen, and then you have to be Karen. I'm just saying, but
Got someone lucky with that.
no one has your fingerprint.
That's right.
That's what's unique. So
Yeah.
no one can ever be you. There will never be another Karen Ferguson. There will
That's
never be
right.
another Tanya Cowan, right? And that's the uniqueness. And so I do agree with that. Whenever we get into, as women, we get into this competitive stuff, the
Mm-hmm.
jealousy, the envy, all of that is nothing but spirits and is trickery by the enemy,
That's right.
to make you second guess yourself. Because you see a woman out there doing her thing, why aren't you clapping for her?
Yeah.
Why aren't you cheering her on? Why are you jealous? Why are you turning your nose up? Why are you trying to compete with that?
Yeah.
I don't quite understand it. It's just odd to me. Anyway, thank you so much for that because I think we're gonna go ahead and use. Let me take that chat down though. But
Good.
we felt that. I don't know if y'all felt. I know
That,
I
well,
felt
good.
that
Hey,
was
I
a
didn't
lot.
even plan on bringing that up, but that is just the truth. And if
Yeah,
we have time, I
it
have
is.
one more example.
Yes, please give me another example.
Speaking of that, this was actually an example of being in direct competition with two other women. So, if I know that your dad is in real estate, Tanya, so real estate can be very competitive just in general.
Mhm. Right.
But I was actually invited to be interviewed by a seller because they were trying to find a listing agent for their house. And so it
Hmm.
was me and two other female agents, and they had them scheduled back to back. And I had never done this before. Usually, all of my customers come from referrals or past clients, but it was kind of a referral because another agent told me about it and said, I think you should go for it.
Hmm.
So I did, but it was interesting because I knew the two other agents. And when the seller brought up their names, I was very complimentary of them. And I told them, how great of a job they do, and that I've always had really good
Hmm.
working, relationships and experiences with these agents. And I was very positive
Hmm.
about the other agents because I don't want to win or get something because I have, talked bad or put someone down. That's not going to be, that's not going to feel good, and that's not going to make me proud of myself.
Right.
So
That's right.
when I was interviewing and those names were brought up, it just, came to me, be very complimentary, say good things about them, because you know what, also, that's a bad reflection on me if I talk bad
Mhm.
about them. So
Talk
this
about it.
seller, yeah, this seller could think, ooh, what kind of person is she that she's,
Right.
down in these other agents. So I
Hmm.
stayed very positive about those other agents, and I just did my thing. I did my presentation and I showed them all the work that I had done and who I was and how I could sell their house. And, it was another last minute thing. I didn't have a lot of time to prepare. So I almost let fear keep me from doing it because I did not
Hmm.
have a lot of time to prepare. But I did it. I was positive and I got the job. So
See, you know why? Because you're being obedient. I've said this numerous times. People who follow Design with a Purpose, or care to hear what I have to say.
yeah,
I've said this numerous times that all God asks us to do is show up. That's
right.
it.
That's it.
He will
Yeah.
handle the rest. Do you need to do some preparation and you're showing up? Well, yeah, right. But you show up and he does the rest. And
Right.
he's blessing you, Karen, because you're being obedient and
That's
you're
right.
showing up. You're not allowing the fear to stop
No.
you. Too many of us do that.
Yeah.
Talk ourselves up. Why don't you think you're worthy enough to go
Yeah.
do something? Why don't you think you're worthy enough to become a real estate agent, for example?
Right.
Why don't you
Yeah.
think you're worthy enough to start your own business? Why don't you think you're worthy enough to go and interview for a position that 125 people also applied for? You're
Right.
worthy of that,
Right.
right? And when you have that confidence and, you know, I love how you said you did not allow the competition. Like, yes, you could have said negative things about these women. You could have even let negative thoughts creep up in your mind. And even if they did, you were like, nope, I'm gonna push that back because this is not about them. This is about me and my worth and what it is that I know I can do. So
That's
that
right.
I love it. I love it. And you teaching and you helping somebody because
Yeah.
we're human. We have those crazy thoughts that enter in our mind
Yeah.
to make us think that we're not worthy. And
Well,
so what you basically did that day is you showed up.
thank you. Yeah. And I try to remember every day because, I work a lot, I work hard.
Mhm.
But what is most important? What are my priorities? Yes, my job's a priority, but what's most important to me is that I am modeling what a good Christian woman is and what it's like to be a successful woman, but yet still a Christian woman. That at the end of the day, if someone wants to get competitive with me, my values mean more to me. And so I rather be honest, kind, and positive and get the
Yes.
job that way than to stoop
Right.
to someone's level and talk negative or just be a bad person. That I just will not do it.
Ooh, let me tell you something. And that's especially out here in this workforce.
Yeah.
People can just be, to me, that's what sticks in my mind when someone has been nasty to me, when someone is
Yeah.
talking about someone else to me, because that tells me that you're talking about me to that
Mhm.
person, to someone
Right.
else. Like, I
Yeah.
see you. I may not say a word, but
Yeah.
trust me, I see you and you show me who you are.
Right.
And as Christians, we are supposed to carry those values everywhere we go. Nobody said you had to have your Bible out and preach it from the pulpit. Nobody said that. It's
Yeah.
taking those values, like you said, and you're just going to, you know what, I'm going to remain pleasant. I'm
Yeah.
not going to allow this person to get under my skin. I may have to walk away for 5 minutes so I don't say anything crazy. Like you just kind of have to pull yourself together. My mom put a comment up here that she does that. I know exactly what she's talking about. What she's talking about is she talks herself out of stuff. She thinks
Oh,
she's talking about how she's not worthy, and you're more than worthy, mother.
yeah.
And we're gonna get you through that because that's nothing. Again, those are those. We wrestle against spirit and principalities, right? That's a
Yeah.
spirit
Yeah.
that's within us to make us feel like we're not worthy and to have this fear, and it's preventing you from getting your blessing, from receiving your blessing. And you got to learn how to let it go. So, yeah, thanks for sharing that, Ma, and thank you, Karen, for that story because
Absolutely.
um, it's a great reminder and good examples of what we all go through. It may not have been in real estate, but we're definitely dealing with it in some other shape or form, right?
Right.
When we're pitted against each other as women, that we didn't even ask to be put into a competitive situation, but here I am in it, and so what do you do to get out of that, right? And that's the whole
Yeah.
thing, how do we get past that? So Thank you so much for sharing that, Karen.
You're welcome.
Um, what inspires you as a woman? I love this question because we're all women, and I just love to hear what inspires other women.
I'm really inspired by a lot of things, but the first thing that comes to my mind is just God and how good He is. And,
Mm,
I just see Him showing up in my life, in others' lives. I see
mm,
a lot of times where if I can get out of the way of myself and put Him first, the work that He
yes,
can do through me,
yes,
I'm so inspired by that, and though that's my why. That
mhm,
is what I think about when someone wants to get nasty with me, because trust me, real estate can get nasty. I mean, people
yeah,
are emotional. Agents are thinking about their paychecks they may or may not get, and it can get really nasty. And I have to remember I'm here because this was God's plan. Trust me, if
right.
this was my plan, I would not have went to school for 8 years and got a master's degree in business when
Come
all I
on,
needed to do was go to school for 7 days and get a real estate license. I mean,
just,
this is
I'm
God's
just saying.
plan. This is God's
Yes,
plan. And, so I'm very inspired by that. But I'm also inspired by women like Joyce Myers.
mm,
That woman feeds my soul. I go to her
yeah,
conferences
she's
every
good.
year,
Yeah,
and she is so inspiring to me. She had a very hard life,
yes,
and
she did.
she has really worked hard on growing spiritually and living
Mhm,
out the life that God has for her. And so
mhm,
I am really inspired by
yeah,
women like her.
yeah,
But yeah, I could keep naming people or things that inspire me, but it really goes back to God. I'm just
mhm,
so inspired by all that He does. If we'll just, like you said, Tanya, be still, be obedient, and
mhm.
trust Him, even through
Yeah,
the hard times.
yeah, amen. So good, so much good stuff. And one of the things you said about Joyce Meyer, and there's other women. Most people in my mind, this is how I think. Most folk who are the most inspirational to us are
Mm-hmm.
those who have had the worst, or
Yeah,
some of the worst moments in their lives, or some of the most traumatic, or
right.
just challenging things that they had to go through, that they
That's right.
overcame, and they
Yeah,
chose to be transparent about it and talk about it to help
yeah,
heal someone else. That's why she's an inspiration,
yeah.
right? And
I
so many
agree.
other women that we can sit here and name all day. But
Yeah.
most of the time, they have
Mm-hmm.
this backstory that is like, oh my gosh, she went through a whole lot. And if she could get through that, then
Yeah,
I can get through that, through what
that's
I'm
right.
going through.
Yeah,
So I think that tells a lot about, those people that in our lives that we feel are inspirational. And she's
yeah.
definitely one. I have a couple of her books that
Yes.
I go to from every now and then. So thanks for sharing that.
You're welcome.
And while we're here learning how to collaborate and stop competing, how do you collaborate with other women, and how can we collaborate with you?
Absolutely. I love people in general. I'm a people person. I love to help people, but I do have a very special place in my heart for women, because I
Yeah,
just know we just have it hard.
we
It
do.
just,
Talk about it.
we really have it hard. I mean, I know my husband, he's bald. He doesn't have to worry about his hair. He doesn't really have to worry about his clothes because, he can get ready in 5 minutes. It takes me at least 30 minutes or an hour. Um, but, we have it hard. And I try to give women grace, and because I know I need grace every day.
Yeah.
But I would say, really what I do to collaborate with other women is what you just said, Tanya. I use my story
Mhm.
to help at the Harbor Home for Women, where we help women with addiction and trauma come
Yeah.
out of the darkness and get their families back together. That
Yeah.
is really important to me. And I feel like, God doesn't let us go through things just you know, for no reason. We should share our experiences and tell the world, it's only God that brought me through that. And so I collaborate with women that way at the Harbor Home for Women, and I'm on the board of directors there. And
Nice.
I also help with the Women's Leadership Network here in Arkansas. They'll ask me sometimes, will I sponsor a lunch, or, will I come and speak or go to an event or something like that? And I love sharing with women that are maybe young in their profession, or maybe they're trying to transition into a new career. Those are things that I've gone through, and I love sharing my experience with other women and to give them hope that if
Yeah.
I can do it, they can do it. And so there's a lot of little nonprofits and organizations that I stay connected with. And 9 times out of 10, if someone asks me to do something just like you, Tanya, I say yes, because I rather say no to some other things going on that does not help anybody really. And
Yeah.
so I'd
Yeah.
rather say yes to things like this that could really help and inspire other women.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I love that. Everything you just said. The Harbor House. Is that what that's what it's called? Oh my
The Harbor
God. Like
Home. Yeah.
the Harbor Home. That puts chills on me. Like what a
Mm-hmm.
beautiful way to give back to the community, like these women and their families in need. Like it's so important to reconnect. Those addictions, things out there in life, that again, it's the spirit. Those are
Mm-hmm.
spirits that enter in. It's not the person.
No.
It's the spirit that they allow to enter into them and they get addicted. But
Right.
the fact that they can overcome that addiction, that's what's
Mm-hmm.
beautiful,
That's right.
and having something like that, I love it. I wanted to put up a comment that someone said, the point Karen made about not speaking negative about someone else. You can talk yourself out of your blessing by speaking negative about
Right.
somebody else. That is nothing but facts.
I love,
Facts.
like the comment just said, I was likely going to get the job anyway, but if I would have started talking bad about the other agents, the sellers may have said, "Ooh, I don't know if I want someone like that representing me," and talked
That's
myself
right.
out of my blessing.
About it, we people, it happens. We have to be mindful what comes out of our mouth. Just because it comes to your head, don't mean it needs to come out of your mouth, right?
Right.
And when it comes to your head, you need to learn how to rebuke those thoughts,
Mm-hmm.
and send them back where they came from. you
That's right.
know,
That's right.
good stuff, Karen. I love that. Your community service is a beautiful thing, and that's what we should do. We all should give back to our
Yes.
community in some way. No one's saying that you need to do it every day of the week, every single
No.
month, but take some time out of your schedule to give back to the community, and not just during the holiday season. It's
Yeah.
12 months in a year,
That's right.
365 days. We all can find some time to give back. So I love that. That's a beautiful thing.
I have a
Um,
saying.
yeah,
I
go
have a
ahead.
saying with regard to that.
Hmm.
It's people over projects. You know,
Ooh,
um, I
ooh, she
am a
said people over
checklist,
projects.
people over projects.
Ooh,
I'm a checklist person, and I will run over anything to get my checklist done. I'm saying this
mm.
in a jokingly way,
Yeah,
but
no, I get it.
I have to remember, hey, when God shows up, or when God puts something on your heart, or he puts someone in front of you like he did yesterday at a coffee shop. I thought we were going to talk about real estate, and we spent 2 hours talking about her abusive marriage and all
Jesus.
kinds of stuff. Then
Mm,
you have to stop and do God's work, because that's
mm.
what matters. And so, people over projects, if you can always keep
Ooh,
that in your mind and slow down, because just like you might talk yourself out of a blessing with the negative thoughts, you can also miss a blessing by
talk
helping
about
someone in
it.
need. So,
Woo! Oh my God. That's a word. Now you can preach on that, people over projects. Oh my God. That's a preaching moment, Karen.
hey, let me tell you,
Oh my goodness.
like you
Oh my
said,
goodness.
this wisdom didn't come from, just not having any bad experiences. Like you said, just
Right.
like Joyce Meyer and many other women, the things we go through, that's where we learn the most. And that's
Yeah.
who
Yeah.
all those bad things make up who we are. And it's all for the good, it's all for God's glory.
All for his glory. For his glory. When you recognize that and get it, you remove, we become from self. Like you remove yourself from it. It is not,
Right.
none of it is about
Mm-hmm.
us. Not one. It's
No.
all for his glory. And
Right.
and that's a beautiful thing. And so this last question of the day, what advice would you give a woman who may be experiencing competition? You know, it could be something that she didn't even realize she was going to be put in, right? How would you help her turn that into something collaborative or just a positive? She walks away with a positive experience.
Absolutely. Well, first of all, as we've talked about, stop listening to those lies. Fear is a
Yes,
liar. So
yes, it
if
is.
you've got things in your head that's telling you I'm not good enough, I didn't have enough time to prepare, all these things,
Mm-hmm.
remember, you are your biggest competitive advantage. You.
Yeah,
People do business with people they know, like, and trust. Whether it's
Jesus.
like me, my own business owner, or whether you are at a corporate, job.
Mm-hmm.
People want you on their team because they
Mm-hmm.
know, like, and trust you. So
Mm-hmm.
stop the noise, stop the
Stop it.
lies.
Yeah,
Remember, you are your biggest competitive advantage. Like someone said about the fingerprints, there's no one else like you.
no one.
And so if you can remember that and stop worrying about, well, their hair's longer, or they've got more education than me, or all these things, you need to show up, and you need to work on you and not worry about everyone else, because
That's
there
right.
is enough business, or there's enough job opportunities out there for all of us. And just remember, it's not what they have or what they're doing. You are your competitive advantage.
And you are uniquely made.
That's right.
Love that. You that should make you excited that there's not another you. What in the world? There's not, like, what? Why are you comparing yourself to someone else? You just, again, your uniqueness is slowly diminishing every time you do that. You
Right.
are diminishing your uniqueness because you're dimming yourself. You're dimming your light.
That's
Why are
right.
you doing it to yourself? Someone
That's
put all
right.
the time, I listen to that fear. I must stop the lies. I'm working on me. Yes, and keep doing this. This is why I love having these conversations, Karen, because
Yeah.
it's meant to help somebody. Like I said, whoever tunes in, that's who's meant to get it. Whoever goes back and watches the
Yeah.
replay, that's who it's meant for. I don't sit here and try to figure out how many people. Oh Lord, I don't have but two people watching. Oh gosh, well I might as well go ahead and sign off. No, ma'am, because it's not about me. I'm not doing this for me. And trust me, they are right that I had to learn and understand
That's right.
that. And that's why my tagline is, if I touch one person, I've done my job, or my quote, I should say. If I've touched one person, I've done my job. That's
That's
all
right.
I've been required to do, because they're going to go out and touch the
That's
next
right.
person. It's that domino effect. So thank you so much, Karen, for being a
Right.
part of the conversation today. We're running just a little bit over. This is how you can get in contact with Karen on her website, KarenFergusonTeam.com. If you're interested in real estate, I don't know if she'll help you in the North Carolina area, but I'm sure she can direct you to who you
That's
need to
right.
go to, because, again, this is
That's
about
right.
collaboration over competition. So, this is how you can contact Karen. You can also follow Karen on her social pages, Facebook and IG. She's Karen Ferguson Team. Again, Karen is such a beautiful person inside and out. We met at Teleflex some years ago. She was in marketing. I was a trade shows and events planner, and she was on the surgical team. And I would do their trade shows and events. And I would just sit in her office and we would just have the best conversations. She's a sweetheart.
You are
I mean that
sweetheart.
truly, truly, truly from my heart. She's just a great person. Let me turn this little ticker off down here. I got all these tickers going, honey, and I'm like, what is she doing today? Um, so that's how you get in contact with Karen. I do want to say that today, this is the last month of the year, last collaboration over competition conversation. I don't know if it's coming back or not. This is what God will tell me. But what I can tell you is that I do have this little teaser that I will be starting a podcast in 2024. I'm freaking excited about it.
Yay.
God has laid this in my spirit and my heart. I will tell y'all, those who know that Dominique Alphonse Sanville, her and I will be doing this podcast, and it is going to be a powerful thing. It's called The Big Shift, y'all. We are shifting in
Love it.
2024. It is time to take it to the next level. God is doing some amazing things in our lives, and it's time to continue to help spread that positivity, support one another, let's just do our thing. Let's see if someone said something. Um, oh, I know there's not another Linda Cowan except I can see it in my daughters and granddaughters.
Oh,
Right, Tanya? That's right. That's right, Linda Cowan. Love you, Ma. She always supports me, and I truly appreciate her for that. If nobody else gonna join, Linda Cowan is going to join, and I appreciate her for that
oh,
so much. Also, want to just ask everyone to make sure you're subscribing to my YouTube channel. We need to get that following up now. Let's come on now, get on the YouTube at Miss Positivity. All right. Again, thank you so much, Karen, for being a part
thank you.
of the conversation today. Is there anything that you would like to leave us with, um, before we go?
I would just say, just continue to love yourself, because I feel like a lot of times, whether it's we're so busy or we feel like we're in competition with others. I think if we can slow down, be still, listen to God, and love ourselves, I feel like those lies that keep coming at us will eventually fade out. So love yourself.
Yeah,
You're worth it. And I'm always here if anyone ever needs a pep talk or a cheerleader, because we all need them, because every day is not peaches and roses. So um,
that's the truth.
I'm hoping that I spoke to someone today. I hope that I gave someone hope and inspiration. And it was just such a pleasure to be your guest today, Tanya. I'm so proud of you and so lucky to have you as a friend. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Karen. I feel the exact same way, and I'm just grateful that you said yes to
Yes.
come and leave us on this beautiful note. And someone wants to give you a thank you.
Oh,
They
thank
enjoyed
you.
you today.
Thank you.
It was my mom. She truly thanks you for that. And hey, everybody, if you did not see it the first time around, that's why we have the replay. Put hashtag replay in the comments. Let us know your thoughts. Thank you, everyone, for joining us today. We're going to let you get back to it. I know you got some shopping to do. I'm done. Well, somewhat done, but I know I'm not shopping today. How about that? I'm going to relax and rest. So enjoy the rest of your Saturday. Again, Karen, thank you so much
Thank
for
you.
joining. Hang on before you leave. And everyone else, have a great day. See you soon.